Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Marshall Pitts. Marshall Pitts is out. Well, he's supposed to be late. Myron Pitts is also supposed to be late, but you have the best, which is Marshall Pitts, and we still are MP3. I've been saying for a while on this show, every time those two are missing, and which is frequently, is that, sometimes you got to go it on your own. Michael Jackson had to go it on his own. He left the Jackson 5. Lionel Richie had to go on his own. He left the Commodores. Beyonce had to go on her own. She left Destiny's Child. And all three of those became better because of the fact that they left. So MP2 might have to go on his own too. We'll see. Myron sent us a bunch of topics. Before we get to that, 910-483-6111, 910-483-6111. If you want to call in and talk about some of the topics we're going to talk about or anything else. But Myron sent us a bunch of topics. One was about the Super Bowl, not specifically about the Super Bowl itself, but Bad Bunny, which was the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And I've got some definite thoughts about Bad Bunny and the halftime show. And then, of course, he sent us something about the Epstein files. President Trump is finally saying that they can release all the Epstein files, which relates to sexual assaults and little girls being trafficked back in those days and all that kind of stuff. And then he also sent us a story about talking to your kids about ICE. We got to talk to your kids about ICE, sort of like you had to talk to them about the police. Like we have talked about our kids about the police. And then also he sent us a story about a white historian who said that black people have no history. That was that white historian's comment. And so you've got another guy who dedicated his life to proving that person wrong about them not having no history. 910-483-6111, 910-483-6111. Again, you got the MP2 here holding it down. In Marshall and Myron are out. They'll be in at some point. They'll swagger in at some point, if they can swagger. And then we'll kind of go from there. But Bad Bunny. So we're going to start with that. And here comes MP1 now. Straggling in. He's straggling in. You got to mic you up there first, young fella.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, the halftime show, Marsh, I set up the topics, Bad Bunny, Epstein files, talk to your kids about ICE, and then white historian saying black people have no history. That's how you set the topics up. Okay. Myron can learn from that. Okay, so now, Bad Bunny. Now, again,
I missed that halftime show.
You didn't miss much. I didn't like it either.
Well, no, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying I missed it.
That's the only reason you missed it, because you didn't want to see it.
I was actually doing some work. I got a big case I'm working on. So, but I would have to say
Bad Bunny was only 12 minutes long.
Well, I have to say this. That I've talked to a couple of people that saw it, and they liked it. They thought it was entertaining. They thought
what did they like about it?
They thought it was good messaging about unity and.
How did they know? They were Hispanic. But there were no subtitles. You didn't know what he was singing about. I didn't, at least.
Right.
On my TV.
Well, people didn't know what Michael Jackson was singing about in Asia and other places. You don't have to always know the lyrics.
Obviously you don't. So so what I'm saying though, this is what the Super Bowl is, and I'm glad Myron is not here right now. He's on his way. He texted to say he's on his way because he probably would totally disagree with me on this. But the Super Bowl halftime show, in my mind, should be reserved for iconic. Iconic meaning.
I know iconic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, iconic in this term meaning in this how I'm using iconic is someone that most people know.
Right.
So now, when you heard about Bad Bunny, and I heard about Bad Bunny, okay, let me speak for myself.
I wasn't.
I did not know who Bad Bunny was. I had never heard the name before until he got tapped to do the Super Bowl. Now, of course, that doesn't mean anything. I don't know all of the actors, but I do know the iconic superstars.
Well, listen, you can't say that he's not, because he is actually one of the most popular artists worldwide. Bad Bunny is. I mean, he may not be. You may not be familiar with him. Some of us in the U.S., but he's very popular.
The Super Bowl
across the globe.
The Super Bowl's in the U.S. Let's start with that. But second of all, who else is global? And what I mean by iconic is Michael Jackson.
Right.
If I say Michael Jackson, then no one said, well, who's that? If you said Beyonce, no one's here or around the globe said, who was that? If I told you Prince here or around the globe, no one said, who is that? But in America, in this country, we said.
You're showing your age, though. You're showing because when you talk about Michael Jackson and Prince and even Beyonce, she's getting a little older now. Those are Bad Bunny's a different generation. It's different generation, and so you may not. There are a lot of people when Mike was out doing his thing didn't really know about Michael Jackson.
That's not true.
For a while. For a while.
When Mike did his Super Bowl show, everybody knew Mike.
Right.
Thriller had been done, all of that stuff. Everybody knew Mike. That's what I mean
that's atypical. How many people are you gonna find?
I just named 3
like that.
I just named 3.
Yeah, but we had 60 Super Bowls.
I'm not saying that the rest of them Super Bowls were not just as bad. I'm not saying Bad Bunny was the worst Super Bowl.
No, I'm saying that as far as the number, the talent that you can recruit on that level that you're talking about, you just don't have that kind of supply out there. You don't.
Okay, so
what are you gonna do? Because you're not gonna have an iconic world global entertainer year in and year out at the Super Bowl. They just don't come like that.
So you're saying that
this is like saying you're gonna have let's get a Barack type Obama every year to speak at this dinner celebration or whatever. It just doesn't happen that way.
What I'm saying to you is, I guess what I'm saying to you is when I look at the halftime show, and I watch the Super Bowl, parts of the Super Bowl at our mom and dad's house.
Right.
And so I watched all the way through, probably midway through the third quarter. So we watched the halftime. And so now, of course, our parents are older too, but they also know who Michael Jackson and Prince and them are. But be that as it may, they looked at me and said, who's this? Who is this? That's what they said. Who is this? And a lot of people that are sitting here in America. So now,
but when you change that a little bit, I would suspect most people that are below age 40, if you ask the majority of those folks globally who Bad Bunny is, those folks will say, "Oh yeah, we know about Bad Bunny." So it's just, I think it's just generational. Point you're making.
It's not generational. Again, what I'm saying, because we just mentioned that. I just mentioned 3 people who crossed generations. Everyone knew who they were, so it didn't matter whether you were old, middle-aged, or young. You knew who Michael Jackson was across the world. It doesn't matter whether you're old, middle-aged, or young. You knew who Prince was. It crosses generations.
And again, I'm saying you have very few performers that fit that profile. So the Super Bowl, if they want to have that kind of performer every year, they're gonna have to do some repeat performances of some folks.
I have nothing. I have absolutely no problem with that. And what I'm saying to you is, we will agree that Bad Bunny is not a generational talent.
No, I'm not gonna agree with that. Why would I agree with that?
You just proved my point. Our parents didn't know who he was.
Well,
and you said people.
Not yet.
You said
Not
people.
yet.
You said people above 40 did not know who he was.
Right.
And so that means he's not a generational talent. That's for young people.
Cross generational talent.
And who watches the Super Bowl? Old people. Older people. That's who pays attention to the Super Bowl and actually probably pays attention to the halftime show. Yeah. So now, but there's a reason why they did it. They did it because they wanted to bring in an international audience.
Right.
Bad Bunny's from Puerto Rico, which is, of course, in the United States, but he's Hispanic. So they wanted to bring in a different audience. That's what we are hearing. That's what I'm hearing. The plan was for Roger Goodell, who's the commissioner of football, NFL. He wants football to be international. He's always said that's the reason why we play all those games. Oh, that's Myron calling. Okay.
So I guess he's not making.
Yeah. He'll make it. He said he was on his way. He just wanted to make sure he commented on this Bad Bunny stuff. Go ahead, Bad Bunny, Myron.
Yeah, so I want to get you guys back on track with Bad Bunny. He's not just an international star. Now, he has a lot of U.S. fans, too, a whole lot. But, he's a Spanish language guy. So, I don't think either one of us, none of us speak Spanish, so we're not going to be generally listening to Spanish language artists.
Correct.
But a lot of there's obviously the Latino population is the largest minority in the country, and a lot of them are listening to Bad Bunny. And of course, he's Puerto Rican, so he's a U.S. star as well, because Puerto Rico is a part of U.S. So I just wanted to get y'all straight on that one. I'll see y'all because I'm in the parking lot.
All right. He couldn't wait till he got in here. I knew that Bad Bunny would draw him out. So, again, football is a uniquely American sport.
Yes.
And I would wager to say that football is not Hispanic Americans' favorite sport. Can we agree on that? It's not. Soccer is.
Well,
I don't know why you odd. You don't want to say soccer is.
yeah, probably more. I would agree with
Yes,
that.
yeah. So now we're at an American football game, and the reason why I say that because soccer is called football in parts of the world, as you know, and so.
The rest of the world, not parts.
The rest of the world.
The rest of the world.
And America, yeah, the rest of the world, which is a good name for it because it is football.
Right.
You are kicking something. Whereas in American football, you're throwing and you're doing all kind of other
and
stuff.
I don't know why we named that game football in America. It's not football. Very little is done with your feet.
What would you want to call it then?
But not
Tackle
football.
ball.
Tackle ball.
Yeah.
That wouldn't fly. Especially not this late in the game.
Run ball.
And so what I would say about Bad Bunny, and I know we got to move on to other topics, Myron just getting in, but it wasn't for me. And
did you see the show?
Yeah, I saw it and didn't didn't understand it either.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was a really good show.
What did you like about it?
Just the way it was done, the production, all the different things he was doing. He fell back on his fans and the crowd,
the messaging,
the trees. I mean,
what did the trees
grass
symbolize?
They were showing. Well, the grass is just because he was talking about. There's lots of different messages in there. Like for example,
I say your brother missed most of them. Apparently,
that's the reason why I didn't like what was last year's. Kendrick Lamar, I don't want to think that hard.
That's where we're headed.
I don't want to think that hard. I just want to listen to music. I want to be entertained at halftime. I don't want to think about it.
It's very interesting because I saw a piece about that very thing. Mm-hmm. Someone said, this is a show, and they mentioned Lamar too. It's going to make you think. That's the way the Super Bowl shows are going now. It's not just let's put on some pop tunes and dance. Right. There's that too.
Let's go back to that.
There's that too. But
Let's go back to that.
I mean, it's kind of a whole narrative. Like for instance, now I didn't understand this in real time, but he had the guys on the telephone poles. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that part. Mm-hmm. They had the straw hats, so they on the poles.
Yet another part I didn't understand.
Right.
But you're gonna give it to me now.
And in Puerto Rico, and it was a reference, and the song he was singing at the time, which was in Spanish, which we didn't know. What was being said unless you spoke Spanish, but it's about the frequent power outages on Puerto Rico's island, which is a huge complaint,
Big deal.
Especially since Hurricane Maria came through.
So, storms and different things.
And there's lots of little messages. Like you saw the part where he handed the Grammy to a little boy.
Yes.
And that was basically a younger version of him, because his wife, when he was a boy, he was dreaming about this day. And he handed the young representation of himself the Grammy.
Bad Bunny going deep.
Real deep.
And again, and like I said,
Mine would say too deep.
And like I said, listen, at halftime, I just want to be entertained. And that's the reason
thought it was entertaining.
That's the reason why. I put the word just in there.
Okay, right.
I just want to be entertained. And that's the thing about Kendrick Lamar last year.
Yeah.
I love Kendrick Lamar to death. But, and I like some of his music. But that's not an album or a CD or whatever or a list that I would download and listen to because it makes you think too hard. I don't want to think that hard when I'm listening to rap music. Mm-hmm. I just want to bob my head and know exactly what they're saying. And the same way with my Super Bowl shows. It's entertainment. I just want to be entertained. I don't want to think about what the artist is
trying to say.
What he's trying to say. I don't care. I really don't. And I think most Americans are right there with that.
I don't know. I think that's the way it's going, though. He had
no doubt that's the way it's going.
He had the
that's 2 shows in a row.
Fourth most watched halftime.
Oh,
I
really?
want to say Kendrick Lamar was number 1. He had the first most watched. Now
Are you serious?
that audience is just going to generally grow over time.
Yeah.
Just because kind of
I could
trends of
understand.
population. But
I could understand
international
why,
population.
Yeah, I can. Which is, and I was
Which is
speaking
what the
about that.
NFL is looking
Is
for.
what the NFL wants.
Right.
That's why they play all those games. They played a game overseas, I think, every Sunday this year, and sometimes
Oh,
they
really?
play two.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they play two overseas in different countries and those type of things. So that's not going away, and that's what he wants to make the American
That's right.
football game larger.
Now y'all discuss who programs halftime. Who's in charge of that? Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Jay-Z. So,
And I really want to fire Jay-Z at this point.
I think he's doing all right.
Two in a row.
Because he also did. I mean, you really have to look at. You got to look at where things are going, trends, and I think Jay-Z is really good at that. A show that he programmed, and I'm not sure anybody else would have, who would have been in line to program. There's only a few names that's going to be programming the Super Bowl halftime show because
Correct.
it's such a cultural institution.
Correct.
But the Dr. Dre show, I thought that was a great show.
Me too.
Right, and so,
No,
that was more like what
No thinking, just
bob
listen.
your head.
I
There's a
knew
little
exactly
bit of
what Dre
thinking.
was.
I wouldn't say
I
that.
knew exactly what Dre was saying.
No, because he of course came out with NWA, which is of all their controversy. They were also a very strong social statement against police
Right,
brutality.
right.
So and that was a good show. So I actually think he's on a roll. Now, what would be interesting? I'll be interested to see what he does next year. So, but I think he's on the right track.
So now,
the other thing I would say about the Bad Bunny thing, which I don't know if y'all touched on this, is part of the show I didn't hear, is that the halftime show has been deliberately made a point of cultural warfare by the right-wing conservatives.
There's no need to be mad about a halftime show.
It's just like they did with the
There's no need to be
so-called.
mad. It's just a halftime show.
Yes, right-wing media, and it's just like
You
they
got
did
people
with the
that are-
so-called war on Christmas. It's just
You got people that are actually upset.
I know, which is
mad
ridiculous.
about the halftime show.
And
You
there
oughta
was
hear
an
them talk.
alternative
They're
show.
actually mad about it. I'm saying this is a halftime show. It's
Yeah.
12 minutes long. 13.
Yeah, it was short, right.
It's not like
very short.
Yeah, it's very short. And
Who do y'all think had the best halftime show? A
Ever?
lot of people say Prince.
that's without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I don't know.
Mike Jackson. Is in the top 5 too.
I would say probably Prince, but MJ's up there too. But it is like Marsha, you mentioned a lot of that.
Janet
It's
Jackson.
age. It's
Janet,
age-wise.
Janet Jackson's was in the top 5 too.
Now you had never heard of Bad Bunny before the show. Had you, Marsha?
I vaguely.
Yeah, I had heard of
vaguely.
him.
Yeah, I
Had
heard
not
of him.
Because
So now-
in the music scene, he's always been near
Right.
the top. So I heard of him in that context. Now, if you had asked me before he was selected, would you put him on the Super Bowl show? I'd be like, I don't know about that. So
you-
but again,
you-
I don't have my finger on the pulse.
You
of
don't
where
think
everything's going?
You don't think that? I think it's timely, and Jay-Z was looking at that too. I'm sure it's timely, but because of all what's going on with ICE and all that kind of stuff too.
Timely, right?
Yes, timely. So would you
Which
say
is another thing that probably got people on the right upset.
Exactly, right? Because we're in this
again? There's no need to be upset about a halftime show.
anti-immigration moment.
It's not that serious.
And
But
it's
what I
interesting,
would-
it's not really an immigration story because again,
Bad Bunny is Puerto Rico,
right. Puerto
Right.
Rico is
which,
the U.S. folks.
as you reminded us, is a part of the United States.
Yeah.
Mark said we already knew that.
A lot of people don't. Though. A lot of people don't.
Well, they don't consider it. They might know it, but they don't
A lot of
consider
people
it.
don't know it.
That
I
Puerto
would
Rican-
say probably right now, a majority
That's
of
probably
Americans
true.
do not know that Puerto Rico
Wait
is
a
a part
minute.
of the
Wait a
United
minute.
States.
Now, wait
I
a
would say a
minute. Now,
majority.
normally I would say, I agree with you guys, but you really believe that most people don't know Puerto Rico is a part of the United
I
States?
think a lot of people see brown people, different language,
Yeah.
different country.
Yeah.
So and it's not
That's true. I mean, I agree with Myron on that one. Yeah. They don't,
I
they
think
don't know.
I don't think it's like 80% of people. I think there's a majority of people who think it's a
That's a
different
very
country.
sad commentary on Americans.
Very sad. Very sad.
So now, but Myron, let me ask this last question. I know we got to leave Bad Bunny. We've been talking about.
Yeah, for
It's
quite-
more than Bad Bunny, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
This
more than
whole
Bad.
discussion.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's more
Bad
than
Bunny.
Bad
We're giving you
It-
your
it
time.
morphs into
So,
other things.
so do you think there should have been subtitles at least?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I would have liked to have seen that. Because I think all the things I was talking about, the little messages in there,
That would've been
that was
tough.
what I found out really afterward.
Not really.
I think
Not
there
really.
should have been an option. They can do everything, right? Supposedly with AI, whatever. So there should have been a button you could press if you want to hear or you could just do the subtitles, something like that. So that would have been nice.
So
I see
I'm wondering
no
if
harm
I
in
had
that.
hit the subtitles because I was telling Marsha that I was at
No.
Mom and Daddy's house. It wouldn't have worked.
No.
Okay.
No, it
Gotcha.
wouldn't have. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that would have gone a long ways to explaining what was going on. It would have made it more interesting for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Not everyone. It would have made it more interesting
At
for
our
me.
Super Bowl party, the biggest moment, especially for the women at the party, was there was a cameo with Ricky Martin, from the generation.
right.
What that showed me is I had an older party going
Right.
on.
The Living La Vida Loca guy, is that Ricky Martin? Or that's the other one?
No,
Somebody.
that's another one, right?
He's
right.
Bad Bunny before Bad Bunny.
And they had
That's what he was.
They
He's
had
Bad Bunny before Bad
They
Bunny.
had Cardi
We got-
B on there for the younger folks,
Right.
So a lot of Puerto Rican flavor
Right,
there.
right. All right, so what we got next? Oh, we got to go to break. I'm sorry. We got to go to break. We'll be right back with MP3.
It was funny though.
This is Pastor Roy and co-pastor Madeline Rogers of Divine Refuge Ministries, and you're listening to Wake Up.
Get up from there.
The Raleigh mass shooting of October of 2022 gained some finality today for victims and their families as a judge sentenced Austin Thompson to life in prison without parole on several counts. President Donald Trump and Melania Trump, the First Lady, will be in North Carolina today for a visit to Special Forces at Fort Bragg. The Trump administration has announced a rollback of regulations that were put in place to curb greenhouse emissions. Measles exposures are on the rise in North Carolina, with exposures now confirmed in the western and central parts of the state. U.S. job growth was historically weak last year. However, U.S. job growth was significantly stronger than expected at the start of this year. Another strong showing for Team USA, notching 2 more medals at the Olympic Games. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. At about 7:45 p.m. on February 11th, the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office deputies went out to 4023 Sunnyside School Road in Fayetteville on a commercial burglar alarm. When deputies got there, they observed the front door window pane was shattered. Deputies saw video footage and discovered that an unknown suspect broke the window, then threw a Molotov cocktail inside the business. The suspect appears to be a black male wearing a black on gray hooded jacket and gray pants with a black strip running down the seam. If you know anything about him, contact the Sheriff's Office at 910-677-5499. Fire Chief Kevin Dove is proud to announce that the Commission on Professional Credentialing has just awarded Assistant Chief Patrick McArdle with the professional designation of Chief Fire Officer. Following an extensive peer review process, that designation recognizes demonstrated excellence in 7 measured components. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
High pressure will be in place for today, keeping us dry across the region. It's a cold start to the day, then we're cool this afternoon. Then we'll still be chilly overnight into Saturday morning before we have a warmer day on Saturday. That's ahead of a good chance for rain on Sunday. Mostly clear to start our Friday with temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s. We'll have lots of sunshine by this afternoon. Highs reach the low to mid 50s. Highs reach the low 60s on Saturday. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the Weather Center.
Wake up, catch the vision, join the team. This is Pastor Reginald Johnston of My Father's House Christian Church right here in Fayetteville. We want you to wake up and join the team. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It's good when we come together. We're one body, many parts. We desire that you wake up and join the team. It's good to be a part of Wake Up. Wake up, join the team. We will see you in Jesus' name. God bless you.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about, what am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
If you are on Medicare, scammers may target you to steal your identity. Remember, Medicare will never call you asking for personal details. The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medicare Patrol program is here to protect you from fraud and provides you with knowledge to stay safe. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
I'm Tony Stewart, and I don't just talk about service, I live it. I've served on the Board of Commissioners, and today I serve as Regional 6 Director of the Department of Social Services Institute, supporting families and strengthening our community. I was also appointed by former Governor Roy Cooper to the North Carolina Health Coordinating Committee, bringing our voices to the state level. I stand for smart growth, livable wages, strong schools, and safer neighborhoods. Vote for me, and you get proven leadership that works for people, not politics. Remember Tony Stewart. Together, let's move Cumberland County forward. Paid for by the committee to elect Tony Stewart for County Commissioner at Large.
This is Pastor Steve McMillan of the New Life Covenant Fellowship, 362 Neville Street in your God bless city of Fayetteville. You're listening to Wake Up.
This is Bishop Johnny Ray Jr. of the Churches of Worship Worldwide, Apostle J.A. McDonough, 2118 Owen Drive. And we are proud to be a part of the Wake Up. Come and join the team.
And we are back with Marshall Pitts,
Nigel Pitts,
and Myron Pitts,
and we are
MP3.
Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, we just finished wrapping up a segment on the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl halftime show and all the cultural and social ramifications, or where the trends are going as far as that is concerned. But we got to move on now, and we're going to. Well, we're not going to go to the island, but we're going to talk about the island.
Definitely not going to the island.
Talk about the island as far as relates
first
to
of all,
Jeffrey Epstein.
Me and you don't have enough money to go down.
Yes, so we out the island.
Don't nobody if we want.
There's no prospect of us being on the island.
I wouldn't even get an invite to the island. That would be no option for us.
Right. So Jeffrey Epstein, of course, this investigation continues to have repercussions worldwide. And so a lot of people are starting to notice, including myself and probably you guys as well, that while heads are rolling elsewhere, particularly the United Kingdom, we've seen what's going on with Prince Andrew, stripped of his titles. Some people are calling for the prime minister to step down. There's other people, there's other consequences.
No, he just recommended.
He had. Yeah, they didn't like his approach to it, right? So even how he's dealing with it has caused some people, even though they don't think he was committing any crimes.
He appointed somebody to some position.
Who had been to the island.
Right, who had been to the island. That's correct.
That's
correct. So, and of course, the island we were referring to is one that was, I guess, owned by the late Jeffrey Epstein,
yes.
And it's where who was
murdered in prison.
Who was, officially suicide in prison, who a lot of people think was murdered in prison. But on Epstein Island, it is very clear from the evidence that's just been released so far. There was illegal activity.
Is that the name of it? That's what they call it?
No, I don't think they call it.
I want to see how much this island costs.
So,
go ahead.
Right. So it's clear that there is some abuse and some trafficking going on at this island of girls, some of whom were underage. They had a congressional hearing earlier this week where they had the Attorney General, Pam Bundy, Trump's Attorney General, testify. It was a little bit of a, I won't call it a farce because of the seriousness of the charges that are being investigated. But I will say it didn't give the public a whole lot of information that it didn't know. Trump's AG, Pam Bundy, interprets her job as being basically the personal lawyer of the president versus the Attorney General representing all, which is actually the constitutional way her position should be handled. But she was just aggressive, Maja. You said during the break that they were asking her pretty simple questions.
Just garden variety questions. I didn't think it was anything
Right.
that an AG should get all up in arms about. I didn't, it was just, those type of questions. What did you know?
Yeah.
Where are the files at? When did you know about the files?
Yeah.
Where are the files now? Just
Right.
basic questions that you knew.
Right.
That you were going to be asked when you showed up at this at the hearing.
Right.
You knew you were going to be asked about where are the files now.
Yeah.
You knew you were going to ask about where you're going to, or are you going to release any more files?
Yeah.
You knew you were going to ask, is Trump's name in the files?
Right.
You're just going to have, those are basic garden variety questions, because this has been going on for months now.
Right.
This is, and the audience needs to know how serious, you know how I feel about kids.
Mhm.
So here we have a Jeffrey Epstein had an island, who was on this island, and he was using, part of the reason he had this island, he was using it to traffic little kids, people underage.
That's right.
And some of these people have since committed suicide.
That's
One lady
correct.
recently
Right.
committed
Yeah.
suicide because of her history there. She was in her 30s now.
Yep.
And so it's very serious. When people say, "Well, let's move on," you have
can't
all,
just move on
You
from
have
something
all
like
of these
this.
people out here who
Who've been harmed.
who have been harmed by whether the statute of limitations have passed or not. We need to know who these people are.
Correct. Because these are some of the most. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Because if you're doing this to kids, you're probably still doing it.
That's right.
In some form of, you might be doing it on a grand scale. But not only that, who knows what else was going on in these. So now, Myron, Marshall, where did the Jeffrey Epstein files come? Did he write all this stuff? He kept tabs on that. Where did this stuff come from?
Apparently, he did keep some kind of tabs. A lot of this was in these files, is emails. And while the emails don't necessarily admit to any crimes, the tone of a lot of them are implying that something happened, especially if you know the evidence has already been collected. Now, of course, a lot of what's in these files is from, no doubt, discovery or information gathered for the criminal case against him and his associate, Miss Maxwell, who is in prison.
Serving what, 20 years, right? 30
Yeah,
years.
20-something years. And she is looking for a pardon, from Donald Trump. And it's what they call a quid pro quo. I give you something, you give me something. What she wants from the president is a pardon, and what she will give the president is, she claims, is proof that will clear both him and President Clinton. So no one would trust that kind of arrangement. So in terms of solving anything, pardoning her will not serve the cause of justice. It's interesting, the Epstein files. There's lots of interesting things about it, because this was a crusade of a lot of people on the right. A lot of conservatives felt like, there was even the basis of the whole conspiracy that QAnon surrounding Trump is about protecting kids from predators. So to see a Republican attorney general and a Republican president be the main one standing in the way of more information come out from the Epstein files is really a 180-degree turn from where a lot of conservatives were. Now, some of them don't like it, so it's actually causing a split in the party.
An attorney general that said when she started that the files were on her desk and she could release them.
She said they were on her desk, and they were, and implied, and even said they would be released imminently at any time. Go ahead, Marshall. Yeah.
Some facts about the island that Jeffrey Epstein owned.
Mark
it was
is
called.
on.
It was
Yeah.
called Little Saint James. It's in the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Okay, and it's called Little Saint James Island, and he got a great deal on it. He bought it in 1998 for right around $8 million.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a lot less than what you would think an island would cost.
That was 88?
98.
98.
He
Okay,
bought
that's
an island
30
for
something.
$8 million?
That was back in $98.
Right.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean, if you got $8 million to throw around, that's probably nothing to him. If you got $8 million to throw around, that's a pretty good deal.
Front pocket change for him. But in 2019, when all the stuff started going down, the island was valued at $63 million.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and
so obviously it's a small island.
Yeah, and he called the island. The name of the island, Little St. James.
Okay.
He began to call the island to every friends and family to come on down to Little St. Jeff. So that was what
these guys, man.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it was his island.
And
so.
see, when you and see, that's the thing about money and power. When you're buying islands, and you get to feel that you're outside of the law, then you bought everything that you can buy. Listen, a man who owns an island, you bought everything you can own in this world. Boats, cars, houses, land.
Right.
None of that means anything. Now you have bought an island, and you think that you can go to this island and do whatever you want to whoever you do it to.
Yeah.
And so and now and there's no doubt in my mind that a lot of forces got together, and that's the reason. Even if Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself in prison, which I don't think he did.
believes that.
No one believes
no
it.
one believes
But even
that.
if that is the case, he had all of these forces aligning against him. Them same powerful people that were coming to that island, or now saying, this guy. First of all, if you're going to commit crimes, you don't document crimes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't
Right.
start putting on paper in emails the
Right.
crime. That's
But
what Epstein found.
actually, people do that all the time through social media and everything.
You know that as a lawyer, right? Yeah,
People do that
all the time. Yeah.
They put their business out there. They just-
Yeah. And in this case, you have rich and powerful people, because this really gets
Very
back,
rich and very powerful.
right? And this gets back to what we were talking about at the top of this segment. There's been no real accountability.
None.
Epstein himself was properly arrested and charged and convicted,
Maxwell.
and Maxwell, and that's it.
And that's it.
Heads haven't even rolled on the level
These are
that's happened elsewhere. I think the last person, is interesting how things come out, because the only person I've seen from the business world that's had a consequence this week, one of the top people with Goldman Sachs, and she's a woman. There were emails back and forth between her and Epstein over what the content of which I don't know, but she resigned. So all these men, no doubt, involved, because a lot of people have been linked.
Right.
To like Bill Gates has been linked to this situation for
Has
years.
he been to the island?
It's unclear. And see, we laugh about this, but it's really absurd that Americans know so little about this, and that's because there is, and it is a bipartisan real cover-up over this thing. And,
But it just shows just how much we've talked about this, and the world knows this, particularly in America, about how money makes a difference in the criminal justice is pursued.
Right. That's right.
I mean, because you got all these people who. You can look at this situation. You can look at when we had the Great Recession. All those millions of people lost everything.
They walked away from it.
Nobody went to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, these Wall Street bankers, nobody went to jail.
Housing scandal.
Yeah.
No one went to prison.
Nobody went to prison.
Yeah.
And so it's
and I suspect that in this case, the Marcia, I spoke about the statute of limitations, but and I'm sure that's well past by now for those type of crimes. I'm not sure.
But
I guess it depends on the crime and the
like
jurisdiction.
For instance, a lot of jurisdictions don't have for murder. There's no statute of limitations.
But
what about abuse?
We're not talking about that.
But in most instances, if it's something short of murder,
there is a statute.
You will find something going on as far as statutory limit.
I think
but there's some places where crime, if you accused of a crime, they don't have a limit on it. But it just varies from jurisdiction to
whether
jurisdiction.
there is a statute of limitations or not. We need to know.
Right.
We need
Exactly.
the public has a need to know whether these men are out here. Women,
you
whoever's
pointed
organized.
to the
you need to know that.
the repeat offenders. I mean, this is a data thing. This is not just us speaking, about what could happen. This data shows that this particular crime, sexual assault, underage girl, is something that recidivism, which is repeat offenders, is very common. Like most of them, the vast majority of them, if they've done it once, they'll do it again.
If you send an email to Jeffrey Epstein or what's Maxwell's first name? I don't know her name.
Yeah.
But if you send an email to one of them and you tell them when I'm coming out to the island, and you know what you're going out to the island for, you go out to the island and you abuse some little girl, somebody under 18, and then you come back. There's just no going, in my mind, there's just no going back to your normalcy. Yeah, I just go back to my life, and that's what they've done.
That's what they've done.
That's what they've done.
Yeah.
They've gone back to their regular life, and when you start going down that road, you've probably done that more than one time.
Now, in the hearings, the Democrats in particular, and it shouldn't just be them, and it's not just them. I'll talk about that in just one second.
Well, let me give you all this on the, sexual crimes.
Sure.
North Carolina generally has no statute of limitations for felony sexual assault crimes, including rape and sex offenses.
Okay, so these guys could still be prosecuted.
Right.
I'm not counting on that.
Which adds another element to it.
Right. That would explain the stonewalling at this point. But I think at minimum, like Mijel, like you said, they should be outed. So the Democrats have zeroed in on Howard Lutnick. Now, you used to see him on the air all the time talking about the economy. He is Trump's commerce secretary. So Lutnick, apparently they've got him dead to rights. He was on the island. So he doesn't deny that. But he had one of the more interesting defenses to it. He says that when he went to the island to visit Epstein, he had his family with him, his wife and his daughters at the time. So this is what he said. I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife all together. So look at all this explaining. We were on family vacation. This is still him now. Right. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that, I don't recall why we did it, but we did.
Yeah, you know why you did it. so now you know why you did it. I don't know why your family, if they were with you, I don't know why they did it. But you know why you did it.
If they were with you.
And before he made that statement, you said, we got to have a family meeting.
Mom's the word.
I need y'all to take one for the team on this one.
Because my thing is, so you get on a boat, which is, can be a vacation.
So the White House is standing by him, by the way.
Yeah, you get on a boat, which is a vacation within itself. You go to the island. You only stay for an hour. Did he say an hour?
That's what he claimed.
He stayed for an hour. He ate lunch. Did he say
he
ate
for
lunch?
Yeah.
Did he eat lunch with Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, he did.
He ate lunch with Jeffrey Epstein.
So, why would he go into a boat? That doesn't even make sense.
Any wife would say, that's all we're doing.
Well, what is clear from him coming up with this rather absurd statement is that in the documents, which I believe either has come out or is likely to come out, it places him at the island. So what most people are doing are like Trump and others are saying, I was never on the island. Because there's all kinds of pictures of Trump hanging out with Epstein. Video, pictures. But people know if you're going to the island, like you alluded to, Mike, there's something not above board going on. Probably something criminal. So if you can credibly argue that you never went to the island, that's a layer of protection, I guess they think. Yeah.
But typically, in this case, I would agree. But if you or Mijel had money, you had an island, and you invite me out to, I would come out.
You'd be the one that had the island.
Yeah, we'd be around a relatively clean island. They knew Epstein.
I just wouldn't go to his house. I don't know what he got going on out there, so I'm not taking no chances. The first thing I'm gonna say is,
let me get this straight.
Get all this money.
So Marshall invited you to an island. He has an island.
You wouldn't come.
You wouldn't come.
Because I don't know what, especially in light of this.
You know Marshall, right?
Because the first thing I'm gonna say, where did he get this money from? What's he doing out on the island? Come on back to the mainland.
Well, you question why would he need an island?
Why would he need an island? And so you have that island. You're away from prying eyes, from law enforcement, from people who can say, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and you're hanging out, and again, when stuff like this is going on, people in power know.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to the island, even if as Lutnick or whatever, even if you're just going out there with your family,
he knew Epstein's reputation.
You knew Epstein's reputation. And you knew you should not have been there. And I definitely would not take a family member, my wife, or
least of all kids.
You bring
girls.
Some kids.
Yeah,
come on now. You that's something you should be doing.
That's why one of several reasons I don't believe that story at all. So where we're going from here, Pam Bundy, the Attorney General, she's not going to release anything that could possibly implicate Trump. I mean, everyone knows that. That was the open secret there at during the hearings.
If Trump's name was not, if President Trump's name and the other people that are around him were not prominent or they hadn't done anything in this island. I'm not talking about Trump now. I'm just talking about the people that are around him. If they had not done anything, Pam Bundy would have no problem releasing those.
As she said she would
As she
early
said
on.
would start. When she made that statement at the start that she was going to release all these files, stuff like that, she probably had not read them.
Yeah.
She did not know what was in them.
Right.
And then Trump had to remind her that, we can't do this because
The White
these
House
people
had
might be
an
in there.
event where they had these far-right, what they call them, influencers, people
Right.
on social media, about 12, 13, 14 of them came to the White House
to release them
making
files.
a big production. We're going to release the Epstein files. They gave them little folders, and there's a few iconic pictures of them, these right-wingers, conservatives, happy that they got the files.
Right.
Then when they opened up the files, it's stuff that already had been released before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even new stuff. That's how you knew that the real files that she supposedly had on her desk had Trump and some other names in it. I've seen lists of possible Trump people in it, 6, 7, 8 of them, of his administration, in those files, people say.
And
so,
see, the problem with releasing the Epstein files is this. If you release the Epstein files, then you're not only going to have people that were actually doing something on the island. They've been to the island and they were doing something at that island, but you also have people that are complicit. They knew about it.
Yeah.
And, so and to me, that's just as bad. It's almost as bad. You know someone is doing something criminal.
That's true.
You know
And
someone
that could be a crime in some cases, right, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
So you know what's going on, and you're just saying, you know what, I know what's going on, and I'm getting this email, but I'm, like Trump might have said, I know what's going on in that island. I'm not going. I'm not going to that island. I'm gonna stay here. And then there's a lot of people, Elon Musk and other people, they might say, you know what, I know what goes on out there, and I don't want to be involved in it.
Right. Musk has said he has never been to the island.
Right. And he would say,
And you time frame wise, that would make sense. I mean, he's been rich for a while, but he would have been very young when this island was in its heyday.
Right.
So I find that more credible than some of the other claims I've heard out there. So, but I think the American people are very clear. I think it's like 65, maybe 70% have said, release the files.
Yeah, so
just put them all out there because we know it's going to hit. If you just look at the politics, but it's more than politics. There's a lot of big business people in here too.
Oh yeah.
It's going to hit both sides.
Oh yeah.
But we deserve the truth, and certainly the victims deserve the truth. They were in court. I'm sorry, not court, in Congress for the hearings, and there were a couple times they were asked to stand, and they had been re-victimized by this partial release of files, because what has happened is a number of times they left the victims' names unredacted, which is to say you could look at their names are out there purposely. Meanwhile, the perpetrators' names are redacted and blacked out.
And
the very opposite of what
they should have done the exact opposite, because you've re-victimized them. You've got these names out here, and you got people that will read those files and say, this is one of the people who's going after Trump.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you got a problem on your side. You're being re-victimized in another way. They did and they purposely did that too.
They did.
They purposely put those victims' names.
They're trying to get them to stand down.
Intimidate them.
Yeah. And so we have seen some bipartisanship on this. The last thing I want to mention before we move on is that Representative Thomas Massey, who's from, can't remember his state, very conservative guy, and then Representative Ro Khanna, who is a Democrat, so a Democrat-Republican. These are the two of the guys in Congress who are leading the charge together to get these files released. Our senator here, our retiring senator, Tom Tillis, is also one who wants. They asked him point blank, has enough information been released? He's like, no. And these Congress people, and I've seen comments on both sides, left and right. They see more of the files than the public is allowed to see. They have a special reading room where they go and they look at the file, and the ones that have emerged have said, this is worse than I thought.
And they can't take the files out of that room.
No, they cannot take the files out of that room.
No.
They have computers
That's
set
CIA type. That's top-notch security there.
They have computers.
Got a security guard standing there with a gun.
They each have a specific ID, and this is done with usually classified information. So they have a specific ID that identifies each congressperson and what was a minor controversy erupted when they looked on Pam Bundy's computer screen while she was testifying or dodging questions, and it showed the search history of one of the Democrats who was looking at the file. So she could see when that Democrat lady from Michigan, I can't remember her name, when she was looking at it, they could see, the White House could see what she was looking for, so they could be ready for the questions she was gonna ask. Right. So that's the kind of crew we're dealing with.
So there have been people,
and if they didn't like the questions that she asked,
right.
she would go hook her up. We're gonna bring some charges, indict her.
So now, so people go into this reading room, read the files.
Yeah.
And then so that's Democrats and Republicans.
That's Democrats and Republicans.
And when they come out of there, they say this is worse than what we thought. Okay. Well, tell us what you read.
Right. See,
tell us what you read.
It's probably a legal situation.
I mean, that happens at every level of government. Whether you're talking city council, county commissioners, state rep, you'll have privileged information.
A good example, like a personnel, like you have to make a big personnel decision.
Correct.
Like,
and then you come into the room, and the folders are there in the room, and then you come in as a representative or a council member or county commissioner, and you look at the stuff, and you got to leave it there on the table.
Yeah,
and
leave it there on the table, but you got to leave your thoughts on the table too. You can't speak on it.
You can't. Sometimes you can't speak on it. No. Yeah, it's not legal.
They're not doing anything else. It's legal. Why are we worried about that? That's my part. We're not doing anything else illegal. Everything else is illegal. So that part we're going to stick to.
Yeah, that part they're going to stick to. Right. Well, looks like we're out of time.
We are out of time. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've enjoyed it. My name is Marshall Pitts.
Module Pitts.
And Myron Pitts.
And we are
MP3.
Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.